Well, a proposal for students to be weighed at school is dividing opinions this morning, with the country's peak body for nurses suggesting a regular screening program will help fight obesity.
Nurses would confidentially measure both the height and weight of students and then reach out to those considered above a healthy weight to provide care and guidance. But while Australia faces rising rates of obesity, critics say the plan would do more harm than good. For more, we're joined by body positivity advocate and 2023 Australian of the Year, Taryn Brumfield, and adolescent psychologist Deirdre Brander. Good morning to you. Well, Taryn, what sort of a reaction does this evoke in you based on this proposal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty fired up. I think the first thing I want to say is I'm married to a nurse, so this is nothing against nurses. But what we've got to do here is look at the evidence. The evidence tells us that weighing children does not lead to a decrease in weight or an increase in health behaviours. In 2014, in the United States, they rolled out to almost half of the states a policy that mandated weighing in schools. They are currently 10 years later de-implementing that particular policy because it hasn't worked. It does physical harm and psychological harm to put our children on scales. So why would we even consider such a policy in Australia when all of the data and the research says don't do it?
Yeah, well, that is a very good point, isn't it, Deirdre? When we were kids, this was normal. We did a health check. They checked our eyes, our backs, our weight, our height. It was just something normal. Everyone went to the school nurse, you got it done. No one talked about the weight. It was just a normal health check that everyone got. Have things changed?
Things have changed now in the way that we view body image, and there has been a significant increase in eating disorders and disordered eating in the last 15 to 20 years. Research tells us that. So children are more aware of what should be the perfect body image, and that has emotional and psychological impacts. And the idea that perhaps there is a good weight or a bad weight is very concerning for our children.
Do you think there's a better way to do this? I mean, obesity is clearly an issue, Taryn.
Yeah, I mean, what we know, 77% of our young people in Australia are in body image distress. But what the research tells us is that those people who feel better about their bodies are more likely to move their bodies. They're more likely to eat fruit and vegetables. Those who are dissatisfied with their bodies are more likely to vape and smoke and drink and take illicit drugs. So getting people to feel good about their bodies is where it all begins. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. You can't look after something that you don't like. So we want to help our children to move, nourish, respect and appreciate their bodies and feel empowered in their bodies. I spend a lot of time in schools teaching children that it is your superpower in life to feel good about this. We want more children staying and playing sport. We don't want kids on scales, and we must say no to this, and we will fight against this. And, you know, Nat, you said up the front that it's a divided conversation. That's not the conversation I'm hearing. I'm only hearing 98% of parents saying, do not put our children on scales.
OK, Deirdre, we have an overweight and obesity problem by the sounds of it. If we have 3.9 million Aussies in that category 10 years ago. Now we've got 6 point something. And though being overweight or obese is linked to many diseases. So, you know, we all want to improve ourselves and get healthy and be confident in ourselves. How do we all have this conversation with our kids?
We know that the obesity crisis is a complex issue. It's got considerations of economics, of race, of access to healthy lifestyle, healthy living. The key here is educating families, educating parents, and many of our schools are doing a great job doing that, and having school nurses in schools that can provide that education is going to be what makes the biggest change, and having that management of good, healthy bodies that are growing and are strong, and as Taryn said, can play and do things is the key, not only to your physical health, but most importantly, your psychological health.
Maybe there is a better way than just chucking them on the scales. Taryn, Deirdre, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And you can have your say on our Sunrise poll. Currently, 88% of respondents say weighing kids at school is not a good idea. Tell us what you think. Just go to our Instagram or Facebook at Sunrise on 7. We'll have live updates all morning.